go
We're
live.
about to go live, King.
Shit.
Woo! Woo! Look, I just been keeping my poise. Made by the million, but still unemployed. They text me about green, but not on Android. She not my shawty, she filling the void. I make the sounds that cut through the noise. He think he a man, but he chillin' with boys. Put down the liquor, start drinking LaCroix. The pain wasn't choice, but now I rejoice. My uncle had told me that I was the one. I played that shit smart, now my bragging and dumb. Lil' shawty had hit me, said she wanna come. Her dresses is black, but she not a nun. I'm so Pasadena, cause that's where I'm from. Some bangers, some hoes. Them with guns, they scheming for riches, they playing it numb. I'm second, I wins cause I'm second to none. Look, what the you think I do it for? Do it for? Hey, looking in the mirror, you the GOAT. Hey, I've been out here running.
Yo.
Cousins family, welcome back to Secure the Bag, the podcast where 4 entrepreneur cousins break down the game, talk strategy, and help you build wealth the smart way, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Today, we're talking about a debate every real estate investor eventually faces. Would you rather own more wealth or generate more income? Because in real estate, those often show up as two different things, equity and cash flow. Most people hear those terms all the time, but don't fully understand how they work together. Today, we're breaking down what they are, how they build wealth, and which one should matter most depending on your goals. So, fellas, let's get into this one, man. How y'all doing today?
Good.
What's
good.
up, fella?
Hey, real quick, before we jump in, I just want to say, man, the thumbnail that Gerard created, man, was fire, my brother. We definitely appreciate you increasing your efforts, my brother.
Oh man, no, you know, thank you for the appreciation, Mike. You know, the
Yes,
tech
sir.
guy,
Yes, sir.
I try to do what I could do when I could do it. You feel me?
Yes, sir. So let's dive into this, man. I know we started our episodes off with, obviously a good old update on the market. Brother Jason, how we feeling today? How is the mortgage rates looking? How is the inflation feeling on those pockets?
Yeah, man, rates are still flat. We haven't had a change really, a little increase on Monday, but technically it's still the same. We're around a 6.6 with it. Well, some of the big news that came down also that's really going to hit the market well if this happens is FHA has a 90-day rule on fix and flips, right? Flip properties, right? So they're thinking about switching that 90-day rule and taking it out. So it's still in talks right now, but if they do switch this rule and they take it out, this could be a huge win for the market and for buyers who are looking to get into those new improved homes and get those investors out of those homes and getting somebody who can afford some of those homes, in there. So I'll keep everybody updated as this goes, but hopefully in the next couple months we can hear something. And this rule should change. It'll probably be implemented next year, 2027, and we're off to the races.
Yes, sir. Brother King, Brother Gerard, man, we need something on the real estate side, man. I'm gonna let one of y'all tag team each other, figure out how y'all gonna do this.
Good start, Gerard.
I got nothing, man. It's still the same. It's still the same. So, it's hard to report on that weekly, but it's still the same.
Right.
We still got high demand. I listed a property last week. Saturday had an open house. Sunday had an open house. Had about 40 people at that open house, and multiple offer situation. Somebody wasn't playing around. Somebody came in hot on those bids, man. So we signing an offer on that tonight, but still seeing the same thing. It's like a pressure cooker up here, but buyers and agents got to beware of that buyer fatigue. It's running rampant. It's like a disease out here right now. It's like a pandemic, man. But that's all I got.
So I'll add to the buyer fatigue. Even my latest buyer, she was trying to make offers on anything. She just want to get it over and done with. Like, looked at over 200 houses in the last 6 months. She was like, man, let's get anything. But we're still having a shortage in Connecticut. the numbers are still low. The sales volume has fallen, but mainly because there's not many houses that we have available for the most part. In Hartford, it's still multiple offer situations, like Gerard just said. So that's in common places like Hartford County, West Hartford, Manchester, Wethersfield, and also in New Haven. That's what I really got. Like nothing really changed from a week ago, for the most part.
It's gonna.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what. Another thing, I just had 2 insurance quotes ran for 2 buyers. I only had 2. Well, so it was technically a total of 4 quotes over 2 properties, and the insurance numbers are spiking. I don't. I'm bringing this up to y'all because I don't know if y'all see the same thing or not. I need you to validate what I'm saying. Either that or my buyers are having a hard time, but it seems like the insurance numbers are spiking, which if that is the case, we could see a change, in the next 30 days if buyers are having trouble securing affordable insurance. I heard that there's a lot of insurance companies leaving the state. They don't want to write in the state. Even my insurance company is leaving the state. So I'm gonna have to start shopping for insurance myself. So once they start leaving the state and then the other ones that's here start raising their prices, that could cause a major change in the market in terms of affordability. Interest rates is one thing, but that insurance price is something else, which all goes into that mortgage payment. So it's going to be very important to see what's going on with this insurance.
Yeah, we have the same thing down here for years, man. Like they're in and out the state. Citizens can only write so much of a policy, so they had to get other competition in here. But insurance rates are going high. Most of the states haven't even been hit with huge hurricanes. Then they tell us people are leaving. Then they say it's because of the fraud. So we just been, like you said, that's one part of the puzzle, the interest rate. But there's so many other pieces of the puzzle, and I tell everybody, who cares about the interest rate, bro? You need to be caring about if you can afford the house, because once the rates drop, you can always refinance out of that interest rate. You're not going to be able to get that payment again when that house goes from 300, 400,000 to 500, 600,000. No rate is going to be able to save you at that point. So it's still a work in progress, trying to get people to understand how to run the numbers, how to look at the numbers, how to look at the houses and stuff. But man, those taxes, those insurance, it's really causing a rift, man, with most buyers now. So yeah, inflation's high, the war. Hopefully, there's no end in sight right now, but hopefully once we end that and we can get a little stabilization in inflation, man, we can get back to some affordable numbers. So, people don't get hit from the grocery store to the taxes, to the insurance, to the mortgage payment, and so forth, so on.
Gerard, if you're speaking.
I said, didn't they call for a ceasefire on that war?
Yeah, I think it was like an hour, then somebody else threw a missile.
Oh, shit. Damn.
They playing games, man.
Yeah,
What type of shit is that?
Yeah,
Crazy. Yo, fellas, before we dive in, I also wanted to shout out this weekend that just passed. Myself and King was outside at the but I gotta read it because I'm not good with these sorority names. The Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. They had a men's wellness day this Saturday. Me and King got to be panelists up on there, so that was dope, and we definitely appreciate the invite to that. A bunch of men came out, as Jason loves to say, we kumbaya for a minute, you know what I mean? But it was a good time. I felt we was holding hands and singing songs. No, just kidding. But then also Sunday, man, that was the Freddie as well. So shout out to the city of New Haven for putting on the Freddie. I heard it got a little crazy after the fact, but shout out to
Did you go?
I think it was still a success. Huh?
Did you go?
No, so I was about to shout out my boy Josh. He had his event, his Together We Stand men's event out in Naugatuck. So we did some more singing and dancing.
So you went to another men's event?
Yeah, I got invited to both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I went to the parade.
You went to the parade,
just join the Navy, man.
Yeah, I
You
went
said
to the
what, Jason?
parade, and then I went to the I caught the end of Josh event.
Oh, word. Yeah, I ended up pulling out early, asking where to be.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was dope. It was a
Shout out to
good weekend of
Josh.
marketing. If you want to go check out any of those pictures from this weekend, definitely go check them out on Instagram and Facebook page. Definitely some nice things that we did. Met with some good people.
Yeah, shout out to Josh. That's a good dude, man. Josh is a real good dude.
Yeah, shout out to Josh.
Bam, bam. That was all low, but it was nice.
Well, if I turn it up, you'd be like, "Yo, man, what you doing?"
So
Man.
let's dive into this, man. Equity versus cash flow. We need to figure out the two. We need to figure out why they're important, how they impact people every single day, how are they affecting people's goals when it comes down to real estate. So I'm gonna just toss this one in the air, man. Whoever want to grab it, it's up to y'all. But what exactly is equity, and why is it one of the biggest wealth building tools in real estate?
So,
Yeah, Gerard.
so equity, not to be confused with profit, but equity is the difference between the value of the property that you own and the remaining mortgage balance. All right. So if you owe 200,000, but the property's worth 400,000, you got $200,000 in equity. It is not liquid. It is not profit yet. It is, basically like parked money that, definitely can be used as a wealth builder. There's different tools and mechanisms that you can use to make it liquid, but it is not liquid. It's almost just like money in a savings that you can't touch, if you will.
So if it's money in a savings you can't touch. So but let's think about this, right? So where for me, when I hear equity, you could pull equity from your home. How does that differ?
So I'll let Jason answer that one.
Yeah, so it differs because equity is just I always make it into a diagram, but I don't have my board. So it's two things, right? So you can see my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So every time you make a mortgage payment, you have your property,
The mortgage.
your balance goes down, right? Your mortgage balance goes down. Every time the value goes up, the market goes up, it's a shift. You have that separation of that equity value, your home going up. In between there is the equity. That's the sandwich, right? Each of those create the sandwich for the equity you have in your property. Now, so it's two things, right? One, they say you shouldn't count equity on your net worth sheet because I don't really get it because it's still net worth, but what they're trying to say is not bringing value. Like you're not making money off of it. It's not actually giving you any type of cash flow each month. So it's really a debt until you cash out or do something with the equity. So when you want to use that equity, you go to your lender, and I'll tell you this as a lender, you should probably go to your credit union. You guys will probably get the best deal going to your credit union. And you can pull money from that equity to use for investments, to pay off debt, to buy other properties and things like that. To buy assets. I don't think you should use it to pay off, to buy cars and do all these luxury things, but you take it out by getting a home equity line of credit, and you use that to buy assets or finance or pay off debt.
So let me, because there's two things. One, is it good to use if you already own the home and you want to not say pay off debt, but like let's say you want to fix up the house, you want to increase the value of the home because there's some major repairs that need to be done. Is that good? Also, second question, back to what you're saying in the beginning, as far as um where it shouldn't count. Is that because of the value of the home can increase and decrease? Does that affect? Could that be a factor in why they say you shouldn't count it as your net worth or a part of your net worth?
You shouldn't.
That's a good point.
You shouldn't really count it because you really don't have it. It's not physical.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not physical. A lot of people or institutions, they do use your equity as contributed to your net worth. right? So if I got $200,000 in equity, my net worth is $200,000. So so basically saying I got 200,000 in assets. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
The other thing, listen, you can use it for whatever you want, but with the vehicles that Jason is talking about, the home equity loan, the home equity line of credit, refinancing, or selling, those are the 4 ways to access your equity, right? If you access the equity to fix your house up, make repairs to your house, you just created another bill.
Exactly.
So are you going to fix your house up enough to the point where it kind of washes away that bill, if you will? Or, you know, if you take that money out, you better have an exit strategy. That's my advice to you or anybody, is you got to have means of paying that back. So that's why, like Jason said, I don't like using equity to pay off debt. All you're doing is shifting the debt somewhere else. You're not getting rid of the debt. So if you're doing it to fix the house, the other part I was going to say about fixing the house is, all right, let's say you take out $50,000 and you make $50,000 in repairs. Depending on what those repairs are, you might not increase your property value by $50,000 or $100,000. Right. It might not make a difference. Now, you might need to make some repairs just to live in it, or, just to be, comfortable in your living situation, but definitely don't depend on it to increase your property value unless you are adding to the property.
Okay.
If you add a accessory dwelling unit, turn a single family into a 2-family, that's value add right there.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? But if you're doing it to fix what's already there, you're not adding that. It's going to cost you $50,000 and you might only add $20,000 in value. You know what I'm saying? So sense. It might not make any sense to do that. So be careful, using those instruments, and always, just like any other deal, any other transaction, know your exit strategy. How am I going to get out this situation? How am I going to pay this HELOC off? How am I going to, pay this this home equity loan off? It's amortized, right? So, that's an extra payment that's added on, to my mortgage, or separate from my mortgage, but that's just 2 separate payments I got to make. So you got to be careful. I say invest it. If you invest it, flip it, go buy another property. Now your equity is working for you.
Right. So that's what I would say as well. There's no point in even accessing the equity if you're not using it to basically invest to make more money. Because if you're just spending money, like he said, that's an extra bill, or it might be extra bills, because you might buy another property, but you didn't buy a multifamily that's going to pay for itself. Now that's two separate bills, like basically the mortgage and the payment for the equity that you took out.
Right.
But I would push back a little bit against not paying off debt, right? Because if
not
you
paying off debt,
not paying off debt,
like
there's an actual
using it
benefit
to pay off debt.
Yeah, if you're disciplined enough. Like, I agree with you guys, because most people are not disciplined enough. Like you said, I'm gonna pay off all my debt. Now they have that new debt, and they just go run that other debt they just paid off back up.
Right.
But there is a strategy to it if you do it right. Now, if you're able to pay off that debt, right? Say I have a debt of $30,000, right? And it's killing me, because one payment is $300, one payment is $500, another one is $700, and it's up, like I got like a $2,500 debt that I have to pay off. If I take that 30, 40,000, it's going to increase my mortgage payment by $300-400, but I can pay off $2,500 in my installment and revolving debt. Well, really installment debt. I could pay it off, and I can pay down my revolving debt, my credit cards also. I could wipe out $2,500 to increase my debt by $400. That is something which I actually sell to my clients when we're doing the refinancing or the HELOCs. Like, listen, you have to make sure the numbers make sense. So if it takes you $400 a month increase to pay off $2,500, I'll take that all day. That's a net gain every
You're absolutely right. And then also like a lot of.
But if you don't use it right, if you don't use it right, you could be setting yourself up for disaster. But me personally, I'm with you fellas. I think you should be investing that money. And if it's update your home. If you got to update your home, try to have like soft debt with that, like just updating it. If you're not gonna if you're gonna do a complete luxury remodel, and like Gerard said, if it's not gonna bring value to your home, I just don't think you should take out all that money and do it.
But that's
try to get it fixed up at a time.
And also, credit card interest rates are high. Consumer interest rates are high. So you could put yourself in a better situation, from 20% credit card to 11% HELOC or something, you know what I mean? Or even a 6 or 7% home equity loan. So in a way it does make sense, but I think that's probably the only way. Run your numbers, just like any other deal. Run your numbers and figure out what's the best way to move. But I'm always gonna say, use it to make some more bread.
That's the only way you should be considering it, to be honest with you. Right. Unless you're in a situation like now, like, oh man, I can wipe out all this debt and only have, only pay a couple $100. But if not, man, just buy an investment.
I know a lot of people that use their equity to pay their kids' college tuition, man. It's the power. It's the power of equity, man.
Oh, yeah. If that's what you want to do, yeah.
King, you're not doing that.
I ain't doing that dumbass shit. No, they better get good grades. Shit, if you don't get all A's and good grades, you don't deserve to go to college. You ain't prove yourself. I'm not wasting my money. Like if you got the grades, maybe if you got the grades and you don't get in, maybe. But if you don't got the grades and think you're going to college and think I'm taking money out for you, hell no.
Yo, that's the beauty of it, man.
The beauty?
Yeah. What you gonna do with it?
No, I'm saying if the kids deserve to go to college, they deserve to go. If they don't get into the school they want and whatever, you take the money out and pay for them, cool. But if they don't got the grades and they just want to go to college, hell no, you ain't prove yourself in high school. I'm not paying for college. You better go to one of these tech schools and get a trade.
We lose sight. It's true. We lose sight of this debt, bro. Like people get on this crazy oh my God, the kid's gonna have debt going to college. Who gives a damn? You pay a fraction. You pay a fraction of the debt, and you can amortize that out for the rest of your life. You pay $7 a month. You could keep pushing that back until you freaking die. Like I had one financial advisor. He was successful, Craig. He used to tell me all the time. He was like, "Bro, I could pay that $300,000 my daughter off any day." He's like, "I'm not paying that off, and she's not paying it off. Why am I going to pay $300,000 when I can reinvest that money and make more money when she's paying $7 a month?" And the most you pay $100 a month for a $300,000 debt. He was like, that makes no sense. And I agree. Like, take your time and pay. Of course, pay it back, pay it off, but don't go broke trying to pay off your kids' tuition. Tell them to go to a state school or get a scholarship.
Yo, I think we need more information about that, about what Jason just said, because if I could pay $7 a month, then maybe I will pay something. But I ain't paying for the whole shit, and they not proving themselves.
Yeah, you just gotta call. My clients just call. They'll call, and then because we do this all the time, like we have a zero where they have the zero balance and so forth. So with FHA and conventional, they're both different when you have student loan debt. But if you call your student loan company and say, "Hey, I don't make a lot of money, do this and that," I have millionaires who have student loan debt, and they tell me all the time. I'm speaking to them, I ain't paying that off.
But now how does that affect somebody with like their debt to income ratio if they are trying to get into a house or like anything? Like, because yes, it sounds good in nature, right, to say, oh, don't worry about it. But for someone that's like, man, I got $100,000 in debt, you telling me not to worry about it. But what I've been taught all my life is that having this amount of debt is an issue, or I have to pay it off, or like we talked about last week, like a Dave Ramsey type situation. So, obviously everybody's point, everybody's perspective is going to be different how you want to live your life. But what do you say to someone like that who's trying to figure out that balance or that next step?
So for your debt, when we calculate it, for FHA, it's 0.5%. We take your total debt, we calculate it down to 0.5%. Each debt you have, we calculate it to 0.5%. That's the debt that we calculate for your debt to income. We put that on there. For most people, it doesn't amount to much, right? If you make a decent amount of money, that 0.5% ain't gonna amount to much. Now, if you're a doctor, like $200,000-$300,000 in debt, yes, it starts to add up a little bit, especially if you don't make money. But guess what? There's always a way around it. Get a co-borrower if you can, or make more money. Get a second job. You need 2 years to do a part-time job. If not, make more money. There's ways to get around it. Like, it's easier to figure out how to get around it than pay off $100,000 in debt. Most people don't even have $1,000 in savings, and they're talking about paying off $100,000 in debt. Like, think about that. Like, most people are like, I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off all these things, right? Even if you make an extra payment every year, there's 7 years taken off, right? You still got 23 years left. Why would you make an extra payment to pay off your money quick when when Jeff on next time, we'll speak about this, because this is what I tell people all the time. I'd rather put that money into interest bearing into the market. So if I'm paying an extra $2,000-$3,000 a year, once a year, I'd rather put that $2,000-$3,000 in the market and let that. In 21 years, I'm probably going to quadruple.
Well, that's kind of what we talked about before, where we had that conversation on whether or not you should put the money in the market or pay off the house. So
right.
we did kind of touch into that a little bit.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's where, like we always say, run the numbers, like see what's best for you. That's why I really think that everybody should have a team together. I was speaking about it on the podcast I was on. Like, what you think people should do? You should have a realtor, you should have a loan officer, you should have a financial advisor, right? A CPA or a tax professional. Yeah, you should have a financial advisor also. You should have a lawyer. You should have all these people. So when you start making these decisions, you can really start making a decision not based off of feeling or opinion. You go straight off of facts and numbers to know exactly what this money is going to do if you make certain decisions.
Yeah. So we done discussed exactly what equity is, right? But now there's people that got equity. They've been sitting on it. They probably don't even know they got it like that. So why is it that most people, or some people, however you want to quote it, don't even tap into their equity? Why do they just let it sit? They just live in a house for 20, 30 years and they never actually go out to invest it. They never go out, pay off debt with it. They never do anything with it. They just let it sit.
Well, I think, two-part answer. Like you just said, sometimes they don't even know what they have. And that's why, like, I'm a big advocate on, get with your real estate agent, or, get with me, or, get with a real estate agent, get with King, find out how much equity you have. I do free equity analysis for all my clients. Anybody that reach out, you get a free equity analysis. And I think I said this even in that same episode when Jeff was on. You could open up Robinhood. If you invest in the stock market, you open up Robinhood or wherever you trade at, your Fidelity account. You could look and see exactly how your stock is doing. Well, however much you put up, you can see what the market is day to day. Real estate should be the same way. It should be the same way. You just invested however many dollars, you putting all this money in every single month, right? Why shouldn't you know where your investment is? Now, yeah, you got your Zillow's estimate. You go to Zillow real quick and get a quick Zillow's estimate. Zillow's estimate.
We don't speak that name, Gerard.
Yeah, seriously. They got I'm sorry, but it's weird because that's what they understand, unfortunately. But there's also a disclaimer saying that they could be $30,000 to $60,000 off, right? So it's not accurate. So you need to call a real estate agent and do an equity analysis. That's actually trademarked by the Gibson team. The equity analysis is what we're rolling with. But and find out. And a lot of times, Mike, the house I just got under contract, like, she had no idea she had that much equity. She just, you know what I mean? She just was rolling with the punches. Now she was getting cash flow. And the cash flow, that immediate cash flow, that money coming in every month, she forgot all about the equity, and that's what happens. And it's not a bad thing in a sense because it's like a savings account. Like I said, it's like you just stacking that. The house appreciation, Jason, is the word I was trying to say earlier. As the house appreciates in value, it goes up in value, you're stacking more equity. and people just forget about it. They just go on with their day and then it's there. I think that's the beauty of it in a sense. Because if you knew it was there, if you knew you were sitting on 500,000, boy, something happened. You call Jason, yo, bro, I need a quick 50,000. You know what I'm saying? I know people that refinance over and over and over again, and now it's time to sell, and it's like you done ate all that equity up. But there's
that was
also
about to be my next question as you were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also a play for that, but we'll talk about that later. Remind me I said that, please.
Yes, sir. So I want to ask one more question, man, before we jump to the cash flow side. But let me know if y'all also got more information you want to spit out on equity before we get there. But if someone is buying their home today, right, their very first home, should they care, and is it possible to build equity from day one?
Uh,
You buy right.
100%. Yeah.
If you buy right, which we preach a lot. But let me go back to what you guys were saying previously. The reason people don't use that equity is because the education that's out there.
Mm.
A lot of people are not educated. Like in our communities, we're taught to be scared of debt. We're taught to be scared of using your home to do anything, fix it up. But we don't even realize that we let that equity sit there, and eventually we're going to have a down market. And that market is going to go down, and it's going to wipe out a lot of that equity. And you have to wait for that equity to recover. And God forbid something tragic happens and you need to pull from the equity that's no longer there, and you haven't did anything with it, created anything, and you're tight on funds, it can bite you in the butt also. So that's why the education we're giving and other platforms give, you gotta start thinking outside the box when it comes to this equity and stop being so scared of debt. Learn how to get good debt, learn how to invest, learn how to take some money to the side and do this and do that. Everything is always good when the boat's at the shore. But when a boat goes out into the ocean, it starts to get a little rocky. Everybody starts to panic, getting their life vest, but it's okay. That's why you prepare before you go out there, so you know your boat don't have any holes. You know it ain't going to sink. You got all these things set up before you take that leap out there. And I think people will be fine with it, man. To be honest with you, just if they get the education and understand the power they have with their equity, I promise you, once one person do it and it starts going along, everybody's going to be like, oh, I can do this. And that's why we have the issues around the country with appraisers giving us short appraisals, because they're stripping equity away from our communities by not giving us fair value for our homes.
Yes, sir. No, definitely, you're absolutely right with that one. So let's take a transition right here, man. Before we jump to cash flow, Gerard, I just need a one quick liner. What's the definition of equity in your words?
The the definition of equity is it's money stored. It's wealth stored.
Okay, cool beans. So now we're transitioning to cash flow. Right now, I'm gonna throw this one up in the air for anybody. What exactly is cash flow, and why is it often the first number investors look at when they're going through this process of wanting to buy a house, whether for their own personal or even for renting it out?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say when it comes to cash flow, the investor is looking for how much money they can make. You know, they can invest money, but they're trying to figure out how much money they can make after all the bills are paid for the most part. And if the numbers are making sense to them, then they feel like that's a great investment for the most part. And I feel like that's all across the board, because we're not just investing into businesses just to say we got a business. Like, there's no point in having a business if you're not making no money. So um, overall, the investor is looking to make a profit after all the bills are paid, and then looking how trying to see how they can scale that business to eventually in the long run get more money. That could be equity. That could be, and taking that money out to invest into something else, even another business that's not real estate or whatever. But the goal is to use the money to make more money and keep having the cash flow to where the asset or the property is paying for itself for the most part.
Yeah. So now for the let's say somebody's just jumping in, right? They have no idea what we're talking about. They hear cash flow, they think it's only for invest or well, they think it's only for investing. Is that true? Can you only cash flow when you're renting it out, or can you cash flow when you just live in it? I don't know if I asked the question properly.
Cash flow is income minus expenses.
Yep.
Income minus expenses. So your weekly paycheck, your paycheck minus your bills equals your cash flow.
Yep.
Okay. So now, does that? How can some? Well, okay, never mind. I don't even want to ask that question now because that's kind of.
No, but you can't. You're on the right track, Mike. You can make money while living in the property. I don't recommend you build, like, if you're living there, I just seriously don't recommend you building ADUs in the back. You're like, that's crazy to me. Like, somebody's like, I got all this land, you should build. I don't want nobody living on my property with me. Like, no, that's for the investment property. I don't want
but it's
walking by my window in the back.
Happening a lot up here, bro.
I understand.
And you definitely got to be comfortable with that. But there's a lot of people that are, like I said, turning 2-car garages into apartments and renting them out, short-term rentals to traveling nurses. Like, and when you're in a market where you can't find investment properties, but you got space in your yard that you ain't using, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not make $1,800 a month off of a garage that I don't even park in?
Right. As long as it's legal, right? We got to make that disclaimer. As long as it's legally to code and you could do these things, yeah, you should probably proceed with it. But
look,
I don't know. I don't care if they're a traveling nurse, a flying nurse. I don't want nobody walking at midnight.
You sound like Keisha, man. You sound like my wife, man. I was like, yo, listen, man, we gotta get this garage popping. Like, I'm about to add a second story to it and everything.
We gotta figure something else out.
Yeah, we was thinking about that too. We got like a 3-car garage, 3-bay garage, and it could fit like 9 cars in there. So we was thinking about that too,
bro. The average apartment is what, like 900 square feet? So, bro, like, you know what I mean? You get 900, 1,000 square feet. That's an apartment, bro.
Yeah, and it's walking distance from St. Raphael's and Yale. So we got the.
But you're gonna leave, right?
Say it again.
You ain't gonna live there. You're gonna leave, right?
No, we don't live there now. So.
Oh, that's of course, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
so
deal with your family and you got strangers.
You said looking in your window,
Jason, I'm about to pull your car. What's the difference between that and a duplex?
I don't live in a duplex.
No. I'm just saying, regular people are like if King bought a duplex and lived in it, he got a tenant.
There's no difference.
There's no difference.
Listen, I'm talking about if I have a family home, I don't want strangers I do not know. That's why I won't live in my duplex. Somebody else will live there. I don't want people I don't know like that rented to them living with me. I just think that's kind of weird.
I get what you're saying. I get you need your privacy, your space. I get it.
People are crazy now, man. You're gonna wake up one day, they're gonna be over you with a knife or something, man. I think about There's too much stuff going on right now.
Lord have mercy. Let me ask this question, man. For where people are investing, right? What expenses do new investors commonly forget when they're trying to figure out their cash flow, when they're trying to calculate it?
We should do. Hold on. Let's do a one shot. Everybody pick one. Everybody pick the best one.
I know the exact answer to this question.
Yeah.
You need to have way more money than your estimate. You need to have extra money to buy a home. The problem is when new investors buy homes, they're told an estimate. they stick to that estimate. Even the word estimate doesn't ring a bell. Hey, this is an estimate. So they'll come back and say, why aren't the numbers the same as this? And you go, because
It was an
the estimate gave it away when I first gave it to you, because you don't know. So they always shortchange themselves, right? And by the way, this was I spoke about this on the podcast. So basically what happens is everyone always say, hey, Mr. Realtor, Mr. Loan Officer, let's buy a home. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get your DPA. I'm gonna get the seller to give you credits and all this stuff. So that, oh, I only gotta save $4,000 or $5,000. Then they get to closing, or they get close to closing, and they get that CD, and they go, hold on, you told me that you were getting me all these things. That's their fault also, but it's also your fault as a consumer, because you need to be educated and you need to think about the other expenses that come along with it. We quoted you to estimate $3,000. You wanted the home that was $6,000. You wanted the house that didn't have the best roof. Now your insurance is $5,000. Right? You wanted lender paid closing costs. You didn't want borrower paid closing costs. So fees start to add up. You wanted to use this title company and not that title company. You want to use your cousin as your realtor.
Yo, Jason, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down.
Why you had to throw the cousin in there though?
Yeah, right. As your realtor.
That's what people do. They my cousin a realtor.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Gerard King, I'm sorry, I can't use y'all when I'm ready.
I just had a flashback.
Yo, yeah,
I'm sorry.
You was holding that one in, yo. Something that was on your spirit for real.
It's always on my spirit, because people be like, yeah, my cousin bought for $3,000. I'm like, yeah, your cousin had DPA, they're a veteran, and they had seller concessions, and their realtor gave them credits. Now, if you can get all that, by any means, let's do it.
Yo,
yeah, let's do it.
The question was, hold up. The question was, in terms of cash flow, what are some things that they don't take account for? Like, all right, so if
that's the topic.
Yeah, if I buy,
you didn't say cash flow. You said expenses.
It didn't even matter. You was holding that in so much. You had to come out either way, man. Don't even worry about it. Right. But so I don't want to give it away, because I still want us to answer the question. But if we
just say it.
If we purchase it, so King, all right, so here it go. You an investor. Jason told you what your payments are. You know what your mortgage payment is going to be, right? So most of us look at it and say, okay, well, my mortgage payment is $3,000, but I'm gonna make $5,000 off of the rents. But then at the end of the month, you don't got $5,000 in the bank, or you don't have $2,000 in the bank. You got $2,000 in cash flow currently, but you don't have $2,000 in the bank because it's something that you missed that you ain't account for.
Bills.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see where
exactly.
100%.
So there's always the water and the sewer bill. There's always the electric bill, the gas bill. Listen, that landscaping bill be something serious too.
Hey, don't let it snow like every 2 days. Oh, man.
Oh, y'all got oil bills up there too, right? Y'all got oil bills.
Yeah.
You got oil, you got snow removal, putting the salt down, and they might charge you a different fee just for them to put the salt down. So listen, it could get real, man.
That's where y'all live?
Yeah. Unfortunately, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Salt removal, oil.
Salt removal. So wait, hold on, never mind. Go ahead. I forgot my next question. What was I saying?
Snow removal.
No, that sounds expensive, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. I'm still recovering.
So my question was, to all of this stuff, right? To all these expenses, obviously people should be educating themselves. But let's just say like that, right? Like a lot of people forget that, like forget those expenses. Forget about the oil, forget about the snow. We're not thinking about different seasons. Forget it about, whatever, the water bill. Where and when or how should they be having these conversations if it's not talked about often?
I would say before they even get in the process of purchasing a home, they need to do their own due diligence, not just talking to a loan officer or talking to a real estate agent, look what landlords have to do in Connecticut, in North Carolina, in whatever state that you're living in. Figure out what the landlords have to do in this state. Look up videos, look up whatever, because I wouldn't have to pay for the snow removal if I went there and shoveled the snow myself. But it's about the convenience. Me being in a home, drinking hot chocolate at my own house, and then the other properties, somebody else is cold, shivering, can't feel their toes, and they're shoveling the snow. So you got to think all these different things through. And also, I want to add that just because you're getting cash flow from a property, that is not your money.
Yeah.
That is the house money. The money belongs to the house. Have a separate business account strictly for that money. Let it be direct deposit or whatever. Or if you're getting cash, go deposit the money into that account. That's not your money. Just because you're getting extra money a month don't mean that you could go buy whatever you want. Now, if the house needs something new, if the house needs like a furnace or something like that, then you got to do what you got to do. But always make sure that you got enough for the mortgage, like the next month mortgage or the next couple months mortgage, just in case you need to pay it yourself because the tenants they're not paying the mortgage or whatever. Like, I mean, they're not paying their rent on time or whatever. So you always got to have the extra money in there just in case. And like I said, don't think you just because you're getting money, extra 1,000, 2,000 a month, it's not your money. It belongs to the house. Something go wrong with the house, you want to be able to go to that bank account and go get the money and send it to the person that's going to get the job done at the house, or maybe the roof need to be replaced or something like that. Like you want to make sure you got the money, make sure it's not coming from your personal money.
Yeah, King. I think you should real quick. I got you, Jason. I'm gonna just say this one quick thing. I think that was dope. To go network with other landlords or people who are landlords. That was a nice little touch on that.
Yeah, but just you don't got to network with them. You could Google anything you want.
With that too. But I mean, sometimes like having that personal conversation is like, you can sit there and really look at it. If you know a landlord, go ask the questions. Like you said, you can Google it, YouTube it, but if you can go have the conversations, that's dope too.
So to add to that, also go to different meetups, learn from different investors, because I learned a lot from going to events. Yeah, Jason.
No, that's I was gonna say the same thing. Long as it's not all men, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hold on. What just happened? I don't know what happened, man. That just went. I'm not gonna say it left. It went right. I don't know what happened.
I don't know about those all men meetups for the weekend, bro.
No. I'm talking about real estate events with investors who speaking about the different properties they have. Like, if they have an issue at the house, they'll tell the tenants to leave a message. If they don't leave a message, nobody's fixing nothing at their house, because the owner or the landlord got to send that message to the super or to the person that's taking care of the properties. Like, I mean, stuff like that,
Yeah,
Systems.
I do think the education part is key. Like, I was reading something the other day, while watching a video, and he was like, there's a part of when we have our customers call us a year later because their taxes went up and their insurance dropped them, right? It's like those things like that. Like, who fault is it? Is it the client fault for not self-educating themselves, or is it the loan officer fault, the realtor fault? So when I'm doing my consultation, the first thing I tell my clients, especially my new clients who never been through the process, like, I'm going to give you this. Most people ain't going to give you this because they don't feel it's their responsibility. But we have to talk about your taxes going up. We have to talk about your insurance possibly going up or them dropping you depending on the condition of the property. So I think education, when you start the process, even as a landlord, things started happening. I didn't know what the hell to do. I'm away I'm on vacation and the pipe bust out the wall. I don't know what the hell to do. My pipes never bust out the wall of the places I live. Like, you know what I mean? The investment property, but thank God we had something in place, and God bless the dead. My wife's father at the time had someone go to the house, shut the water off. The tenant actually shut the water off. He went, he fixed everything. But it's a scary moment with that, because that could have, if somebody else would have did it, it could have cost thousands and thousands of dollars to get that fixed. You know what I mean? If you don't have a team in place or somebody already to try to help you out with those things. But education is the key. I don't know where we got so far in this country, man, where people just jump into doing things without researching and educating themselves on them. Like, it's crazy. People will buy a home and don't do any research. They'll be sitting in a home and the roof coming in, and they were like, Jason, who's my insurance company? Like, what did we go over this stuff several times? You go over it again. When I don't speak to my insurance agents to bind a contract, my borrowers have to do that. Like, you need to get familiar with your agent. You need to, when you get to the closing, you need to listen to what they're saying to you, all the paperwork, all the documents, know the folder, put it in your safe somewhere in your house, right? We got to start doing better educating ourselves, and we're letting people off the hook sometime because we as good loan officers and realtors, we take that fault sometimes and say, oh man, we should have did a better job. But it's like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, investors, like, educate yourself on this process, because when you close on that home, you are the sole responsible party for that property, right? Your realtor can't save you, your loan officer can't save you. As much as you want, there's nothing we can do at that point except for assist you in getting information. So you got to take responsibility, and you got to figure it out, because I don't know is not going to fly no more, because the banks don't care about. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Just to
buyers.
add,
My bad.
go ahead.
The buyers got to understand that they are equally responsible. Like, so we was talking about the like the contingency dates in the contract. So I got a transaction going on. I got 3 transactions going on right now that went over their contingencies. I know they went over their contingencies. The day before, I got a calendar invite. You know, my assistant sent me a calendar invites so that it alerts me when we getting close to those contingencies, right? So I could have called them. I could have said, hey, what's going on with the contingency? But honestly, I did it because I wanted to see how they was going to react to it. Because I know what I would have did. I know, even my attorneys be on top of it, right? But the buyer is the one who signed the contract. The client is the one who signed the contract. So you are equally responsible for those dates if your real estate agents drop the ball, right? Because at the end of the day, the real estate agent ain't gonna get sued. You gonna get sued. You liable. You sign that contract. And in terms of educating, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you sign a contract, I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if you're getting a rental car. I don't care what it is. You got to know what's in that contract because you liable for it.
Yeah.
Just to add to what Jason was saying, man, because there can be a lot of information, right? There's so much that in life we have to take care of, especially when you got kids. You taking care of your parents. You got your own information you got to take care of. Find a way to gather all this information, right? On a physical side, if you can, and on the electronic side. So if you ever run into a situation like what Jason did, where the pipe buzz, you ain't gotta call your loan officer or your realtor to say, "Hey, who was my insurance?" You should be able to access that information from anywhere, if it's possible, right? Obviously, certain things will stop you from doing that. A world catastrophe. But if it's like a pipe burst at home, you should be able to log into whatever account you made, Google, whatever, Microsoft, and say, okay, boom, here's my insurance. Here's who I need to call. This is how much the deductible is. You should be knowing all that information. And it'll take time to gather that, but better to take the time to gather it now than have to try to figure out in the process of your pipe bursting. And now the people, your tenants, is out here losing water and their whole house is flooded right now. That's just my little spiel.
I do want to say something. I want to put us all on blast for a quick second. You're absolutely right that the clients, the consumers, need to educate themselves. But if my car breaks down, am I going to educate myself on how to fix it, or am I going to take it to a mechanic? Right? If I'm a consumer and I got my shit together and I got a team, I got people around me, and I think I was talking to you about this, Jason. It's like we problem solvers at the end of the day. People are gonna come to us when they don't know the answer. They're gonna come to us when they need help with something, whether it's purchasing a home, refinancing, right? They're gonna come to us. So we do hold a little bit of responsibility to educate the people that's around us, because we become that team. So, when you look at the high dollar client, again, the people that done invested right, the people that got their career right, they at the peak of their existence, they got their shit together. They're not going to call us because they already got somebody that they deal with. That's how they ended up what they got. They got their circle. You feel me? So when you get that call from this borrower that doesn't know any better, yeah, we got to teach them because they don't know no better. If they knew, they wouldn't call us. In theory, you get what I'm saying? To an extent, like
that's exactly what I said. That's how I let it off. I do that because I know sometimes my wife, I have it on speaker. My wife was like, "Why the hell they calling you about that?" Like it'd be like 2 years later, and a client call. But I take those calls because I think it's important to, once you're in the family, you're in the family for life.
In the family.
Unless you don't want to do the deal with me no more. So that's how we work it. But I'm going to educate the client. I mean, I have clients call me who left me and went with somebody else. They can't get on the phone with them. They can't get help from the realtor. They it was funny. The other day I was talking to my boy. We was talking about real estate and everything like that. I was like, you ever speak to your realtor for your first house you ever bought? He's like, no. I was like, I don't even remember mine. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember mine. The last one I remember was the lady a couple years ago because I'm on a drip campaign, and a loan officer also who did it back in 2016 because I'm on their drip campaign. Nice. No one else I've dealt with in any aspect in this industry I hear from, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy to me. Because what if I want to get out there and buy something else? I'm going to go to the person who I see the most. Right. That realtor, that loan officer. To get it done. So yeah, I think we should take more responsibility. And I think that's what's hurting our industry right now is that loan officers and realtors are not educating themselves enough on this industry. Like, this is not a part-time job, man. This is, you're affecting people's lives and their deposits and all this stuff. The things happen. Yeah, issues happen, mistakes happen. We're not perfect. Even though people out there say, oh, I never lost a deposit. All this. Yeah, because you ain't closing enough deals. You ain't, like, if you don't got systems in place, if you can talk to people, if you don't got systems in place, ain't no way you ain't messed up before. Like, you speak to people, they don't got no, like, come on, bro. Ain't no way. Because it's just part of the business. But what we do, Gerard said it the best, we become problem solvers, and we have to help our clients solve problems in our profession. So when we pass them along and they close on their deal, they're educated, they feel comfortable. And after that, if they want to go do whatever, that's on them. But at least we did our job as best as we could to educate the borrowers.
Carnell called me last week. He goes, "Hey, Jay, man, you notice like the foreclosures going up? Any of your clients like dealing with foreclosure?" I was like, "Nah, bro." Nah, man, my people straight. Like, I can't speak for everybody, but my family good. You feel me? Meaning my clients, you know what I mean?
They're going up rapidly, bro. They're going up like rapidly right now.
Where at?
Across the country.
Across the country, everywhere. Down too. Yeah, it's crazy.
Gotta dig deep, man. I gotta see where they at, man. I gotta go get those.
I had a conversation today. It was like, man, I want to get these cheap foreclosures. I'm like, bro, foreclosures haven't been cheap since like 2015, bro. The banks figured it out back in 2015. Foreclosures are not selling for what they were selling prior, bro. Like, it's in foreclosure. Some of these houses are in great shape. The tenants just can't, the owners can't pay no more. So they're not selling it for 100-200. That's 500,000-600,000. Because they know the market value of bringing their people in, fixing up what needs to be fixed, and they're selling it for for the full value or close to full value in the market.
The banks understand equity, so the banks are
and cash flow.
Equity and cash flow, baby. The house that I closed on earlier this month, that one in Brantford, when my clients bought that, it was a flip. It was a foreclosure. They went in and renovated. So the light fixtures, if you go look at the video, the light fixtures and that open kitchen and all of that, the bank did that.
The bank did it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been telling. They've been doing that. I'm telling. Was it 15, 14? I'm telling. After the market crash, several years after that, the banks were like, "Hold on, we're losing way too much money. Yeah. We about to fix these houses up," and they go spend $5,000-$10,000, and they make close to their full value on those properties. So yeah, man, it's a different game now. The banks are like, y'all not getting over on us no more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask this one, man. Then we gonna move on to the next. Are we going with a property that's bringing in $1,000 a month, one property, or are we going with 5 properties that's doing $200 each?
What you got, King?
Yo, I'm $200 each.
200. It's still $1,000, but you got
Yeah,
5 properties versus 1 property.
I'm going with the one property because that's one headache. I just hear when you said that, I just hear 5 headaches instead of one. I'd rather have one headache instead of 5. But depending on the properties and like if they have equity in it, then you got different like 5 different savings accounts, like Gerard said in the beginning. So it depends. It depends where your mindset is. It depends what's going on. If you got other stuff going on, cash flow is cash flow. You getting something a month, but the wrong thing go wrong in one of those and those 5 properties, man, you're done. If you ain't, you're kind of done. Like it's kind of a wrap. I mean, like so, you gotta choose wisely, man. And like Gerard always say, man, it's about the numbers, man.
Run the
Think
numbers.
about it. If 5 different furnaces go, or boilers go in each house or whatever, like you know how much money that is? It was 4,500 a couple years ago. I just heard recently it's 7,000. And I could be wrong with that, but I don't believe everything I hear that people say, but it might have some truth to it because everything going up. Think about it. 7 times 5 or 7,000 for one. You choose.
That's a good question, bro. Like, that's a real good question.
That was fire. That was fire.
I'll answer after you because I already know what I'm going to say.
I'm gonna say run the numbers, right? But my immediate answer to that is the 5, right? I'll take the 5 for the 2 if we got equity. Like if we got equity and if there's value add on that 200, meaning can I take that 200 and grow it? Do I have that opportunity? It's called investing. You understand? So can I put some money into it and turn that 200 to 800? You get what I'm saying, or something like that per unit. So I'm gonna look at those things and determine how to make that decision.
I'll say location. I'll say if it's in Connecticut, I'm gonna think about it. Miami, I'm definitely taking the 5. I don't give a damn if it's 0 profit every month. Yeah, as long as I'm breaking even, and even in Connecticut, I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't care. Like when you're buying these units, as long as it can pay for itself, I'm long term with this, right? Because the margins are not there for a single family. I'm assuming you're saying single family, Mike. The numbers are probably not there. So 200, 0, breaking even, all the debt is paid. I'm just sitting on that building equity. I'm probably gonna take the 5 if all things are equal. I'll probably take the 5 because I have 5 doors.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I have 5 doors now, and eventually it's going. I don't care where it's at. Eventually, it's going to gain some type of value to it, even if I'm breaking even. You know what I mean?
You got 5 chances to get that 1,000.
Exactly.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Or I just guess what? I just increase it $20. Now I got 80 extra bucks.
Yo, Jason is Julius, bro. That is.
I'm sorry, he said 5, right? 100 extra bucks. I got 100 extra bucks now, so I'm making 1,100. You know what I mean?
Jason,
and 1 is 1,000. So you don't gotta do big increments. You just push it up $20. That's $100. You know?
Yo, he is so excited over $80 right now. I want you to know that. Yo, that's Jason is.
Bro, I value money. I know $100, man. That's a good lunch, bro.
I call him Julius from Everybody Hates Chris.
That's what my girl called me too. So I feel it. So okay, so we going. So some said one said 1,000, 2 I don't know, whatever.
You got that was a loaded question, Mike. You got to run the numbers.
And all the questions loaded, man. I got the shotgun ready. It's
that was
okay.
Tricky.
So okay, so we chose between $1,000 a month versus or a one property cash flowing 1,000 versus 5 properties cash flowing $200 each. But now if we had a property that we had to choose from, probably a loaded question again. Are we going with great equity or are we going with great cash flow? Which one is more important to you guys throughout your investing journey right now?
I think as an investor, it's important to have both. You as an as an investor, if you're buying real estate, you want both, right? But again, it's hard to say which one am I going to go with, because I got to know the numbers, right? Am I dealing with $20,000 of equity versus $15,000 a month in cash flow? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's really going to depend on the numbers, but you got to analyze the deal. Analyze the deal, run the numbers, and then you'll be able to figure it out. So, for example, do you want to get into that? You want to get into analyzing deals
right now, or are we talking about the future?
You already started, man.
Yeah,
Just go,
right.
man. You started. Let's continue.
So if looking at a property, number one, I got to figure out how much the property is worth today, right? And then I got to figure out how much is it going to be worth after I do whatever I do to it, right? After the renovations. How much money is it going to cost me to get to that point? I got to figure that part out, right? So hopefully I got equity, because I can't put money into a property that's already maxed out. I'm not doing that, because now I done overpaid, Mike, right? So if the house is worth, $500,000, I buy it for $500, but it need $150 in work. That's not a deal. I just overspent $150,000. You get what I'm saying? Unless that work brings me value add, which will then, increase the value of the property, right? So those numbers are very important. So how much is it worth today? How much are the repairs? How much is it going to be worth after I do the repairs? Now I got to figure out, how much is it going to rent for? How much is it going to rent for? If I put this money into this property and I buy it based off of the purchase price and the repairs, my mortgage payment, Jason said, my mortgage payment is going to be $5,000 or $3,000, right? Now I'm looking at the comps. I got 3 units here. I should probably rent these out for a total of $5,000 a month, right? So again, I'm cash flowing $2,000 here, right? So cash flowing $2,000, and I got equity. It's a no-brainer. Or do I max the property out, but I'm cash flowing $2,000? So, you know what, Mike? As I'm explaining this, I think I go with cash flow.
Why?
In this market, if Jason, if I'm in Connecticut, I would go with cash flow, because I could build the equity over time. But if I ain't making no money right now, if I'm losing money every month, that's a problem.
So that was my point, right? So it's tough because it depends on the equity, but guess what? If I have no equity, I have no exit strategy, because even if it cash flows, one shift with the property, insurance goes up, taxes go up, that cuts my margin closer to me zeroing out. And if I can't sell that property and make my money back, then I'm stuck with that property. Even in the negative, there's nothing I can do. There's no wiggle room out of it. But it's crazy, because if you're talking about $3,000 to $4,000 in cash flow and I got to sit on it, like King said, that's not my money. That's the house money. So that money's going to start adding up. That's $36,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like, that $3,000 can add up if nothing goes wrong, and even something does go wrong. I mean, after the first year, you have enough income to support it. But man, not having equity to be able to have an exit plan, that's tough. Because you might lose bookings.
I agree, but that if $2,000 a month in cash flow, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'll sit on that, bro. We gonna chill. We gonna ride this out till the market get better.
Yeah, but once the see, the only thing is I'm scared of before the taxes adjust, because once that thing goes in as a non-owner occupied property, you don't know where those taxes are going to go. So that $2,000 could be freaking $1,200, like by the snap of fingers.
So this was crazy up here, Jason, and correct me if I'm wrong. You guys in Florida, your taxes change every time a property is purchased.
Correct.
Our taxes change every 5 years.
Regardless. No, our taxes change every year. It goes up.
That's what I'm saying.
It goes up every year.
That's what I'm saying. Ours don't.
Every year. And when you purchase a new owner, it goes up even more. You take a big hit. You go to the current. So somebody's paying $1,000 all those years, that next year, you're probably gonna go to the current market rate at $5,000 or $6,000.
I think our taxes change every odd number, but they do a revaluation every 5 years.
A revaluation of value, yeah.
Yeah, every 5 years. But
That's hurting people, King. I'm like down here, like people don't like, listen. You buying a new construction, that number, those taxes are just on the land. It's not with the property there. Dude, go from $1,300 to freaking $11,000, bro.
I don't know why people,
what's going. What happened?
It's kind of messed up. I know it's the obvious, like, you know, people don't know, educating, right? But that bothers me. Like, how don't you know that though? How don't you know that the taxes say $600, and you buy a new construction and you like, oh, I'm good. My payment, you know, my tax is only $6, and then when the new one come in, you shop. Like, what? How you don't know that? Who is your realtor? Who is your realtor?
We can't qualify. See, that's funny that you say that, because down here, all that stuff is on the loan officer, right, to give that information. So we can't qualify on those current taxes. We have to go into the tax estimator and go off what the estimated tax is going to be, because that's the lawsuit with some Lennar and all these DR Horton, is because they were going off, their in-house lenders were going off of the land. So you got somebody excited, like, oh man, $600 all my taxes are, and then they go up to $8,000, $9,000. That's a payment shock, bro.
You just started doing that?
No, we've always done that. We always had to do the estimate. Yeah.
But
we can't qualify anybody off of that.
Isn't it a thing where you get the new taxes or whatever, and you don't agree with them? You could appeal the taxes, like you could go like to the city or the what is it, the municipality or whatever. You could speak to them about, like, you know, you don't agree with what the taxes are. I think I read about that. I heard about that.
You can try to appeal it.
Like dispute it a little bit or something. Or
you can appeal it. But it don't necessarily work all the time.
No, I never heard that.
So yeah, because King in Florida, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. It's a fixed percentage. So like up here, we got like mill rates and all of that type stuff, right? And
yeah, we got the same thing.
You got mill rates too, but I thought that when you buy a house, they automatically say, okay, well, 2% is taxes. You're gonna be taxed 2% of that purchase price.
Yeah, so it'll tax you 2%, but you don't. Those taxes are not effective. Remember, you don't pay any taxes. You only pay the escrows. So there's no prepaids for taxes. So you're gonna pay those increase in taxes. You're gonna pay the following year.
Okay.
So what most people are gonna do, they're not gonna even think about, oh, my taxes might go up. They're gonna be like, man, I got $600 in taxes a year, and then when that new tax bill come and that payment goes up, they call us and be like, I get calls all the time, oh, my payment went up. I'm like, yeah, you picked the most expensive city to live in South Florida. I mean, I don't know what you think was going to happen. And then they go up, and then now they have the issue. So that's why we have to educate them and let them know, like, listen, especially on new construction is the one you have to nail it, because like they don't know. And when they see those taxes, the realtor never says anything to them because they just want to close the deal. But we have to say it, because the first person they're going to call is us and be like, listen. And it hurts the DTI sometime too with borrowers, because if you buy new construction, and like the one we was doing in West Palm, every unit in that community was $11,500 with CDD and taxes. So it was going to hit them the following year, and it's like, bro, that's a lot of taxes to pay. $11,000 for a brand new home. That's the first year. What's going to happen the year after?
Yeah. Last question on this equity versus cash flow, man. But for someone that's like, or not even someone, if depending on the age, let's say they're a little bit younger, should they be focused on building equity, or should they be focused on cash flow?
Again, I don't think you put them against each other. I think,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like I think you need them both equally.
You said younger buyers. You talking about younger buyers?
Yeah. Let's say somebody that got a little bit more time to build up.
Well, I agree with what Gerard said, but I feel like the younger people, period, need to make more money while they are doing, like, while they are purchasing or building equity or whatever, or cash flow. They need to make as much money as possible while they're doing everything that they're doing. That's what I think they should do. While they purchase, basically. Like while you're purchasing property, make as much money as possible. Like have like, something that's steady and something that's making you money over time. It could be a job, it could be anything, but constantly be making money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think if you're in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, you should be accumulating properties. The cash flow is cool. I know people love the cash flow, and I get it, but I think it all depends on what market you're in. Because I know in 20 years, most big metropolitans, that value is going to be through the roof, but got to be able to break even at least with the mortgage payment.
So
Yeah.
Or handle a negative, be able to handle a negative payment.
So you can I'm about to dive in real quick. You can be strategic on all of that. Like you can intentionally do all of that. So, and I'll give you an example. There's an exit strategy called the BRRRR strategy. The BRRRR strategy at first is hold on, my boy just got up and walked away. The the BRRRR strategy is
My fault. I'm here.
yeah, the BRRRR strategy is I gotta say it's equity first. You need them both in order to accomplish the BRRRR strategy, right? So it depends on your exit strategy. But what the BRRRR strategy is I'm gonna buy the house, right? And I gotta be equity heavy when I buy. Most professional investors use this strategy. It's the best strategy in real estate because you get to capitalize on both. So I'm gonna buy the property at a
Wholesale, remember, don't leave
at a
that out,
discounted
Jay.
price, correct? At a discounted price, and I'm gonna renovate the property. I'm gonna put some money into it, and then I'm gonna rent the property out. Now we're talking cash flow. Now I got cash flow, I got equity and cash flow at the same time, right? How you win is you refinance, pull the equity out, right? Because if you pull the equity out, now you don't get taxed on it on a refi, right? So now you could take that bread, go, park it, go invest it, go buy another crib. You could do the whole thing over again. So that's what the BRRRR strategy is: buy, renovate, rent, refi, and repeat. Do you understand what I just said, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the big investors, they do that at scale. And they use, a lot of them are using hard money loans, right? So, or fix and flip loans, I should say. A fix and flip loan, you get a year. You get a year to do what you need to do and refi out of it. It's interest only payments. It's going to be expensive. But again, we're talking about good debt that's working for you, right, Jay?
Yep.
So the cool thing about fix and flip loans is they have a built-in equity play, meaning the max amount has to be, depending on the loan, could be 70% all in. That's your purchase price and your renovation. It could go all the way up to 80% all in. That's including your purchase price and renovation, right?
Correct.
So you got built-in equity in that loan. So now you can refi, pull whatever that equity is that's out, and again, use that money to go buy another property to repeat itself. Strategically, you want to make sure that you at least have enough equity to match what you put in.
Correct.
So if I put $20,000 out of my pocket to buy this house, I want to make sure that when I refi, so Jason, even on that refi, so we refi at 85% max, right? 85%
It all depends on
LTV.
what you go to. Yeah, the 85 is too. 85 would be, for me, be way too high to refi. 75 would be the key, at least 25%.
So 75 is the sweet spot. So strategically, Mike, I got to make sure that my purchase price, my renovation costs leaves me enough to refi at that 75%. But the money, that 20,000 or whatever I put in, got to be included in that 75% so I could get that back to go do it again. That's a system that people are using to, become, millionaires. You know what I mean? To invest in real estate, and it's listening to it. It sounds easy, but you have to be very strategic. It's very tedious. If them numbers is off a little bit, it could mess up a lot of stuff. So you got to make sure that you got everything in order to do it. So that's how you capitalize off of equity and cash flow.
Yeah, I like that play. I think that play is really good. I think you win on the buy. You don't if you're gonna borrow, you're gonna take money, you borrow it from a loan because loan is not taxed. You borrow money from a loan is not taxed. That's why people do the BRRRR so they can pull out the money they put in and they can repeat on another property while at least making sure that you keep your mortgage payment and your profitability in line so you're profitable on that. So you don't take too much money out and the lender is not going to allow you to do it so you don't milk yourself. You have some equity in the property. You go to private lending, you might be able to take out 90 to 100%. I've seen some weird things out there. But those are for like the experienced investors who bought way below and it's probably multi-units and they know they got cash flow regardless and they just keep rinsing and repeating. As long as you don't sell those homes, man, you don't got to pay capital gains. Or you invest once you sell it, you invest it back into another home. You're free from capital gains. But man, that's a good strategy, man. I will tell everybody you should work on that. If you're in Connecticut and Florida, give us a call. Let us help you with that, man.
It's tougher in Connecticut. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It does happen, but lately, well, I'd say within like the last 2 to 3 years that in the market that we've been in, it's just hard to find the properties that deeply discounted. Like you really got to match it up. You know, it's really got to make sense. So it's like it seems like you're going to be missing something because the property values are so high here.
We've seen a bunch of them though. We've seen a bunch of them. When King sent me a bunch of them, man, in Hartford.
Well, so all right, so this
299, 600,000 ARV.
Yeah, but so listen to what I'm saying. The point I'm trying to make is the properties that King sent to you, 40 other people is going after them. So the BRRRR strategy that you come up with, somebody's gonna destroy that. Somebody's gonna mess it up. It's like
because of the demand of
it. Exactly.
It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell for a higher price.
Exactly.
But I don't think it's gonna sell then. I think it's gonna get left out there and not sell because
it's gone.
If it
I
goes
guarantee
high,
you. Look at your text messages and look at the properties he sent you. I guarantee you they ain't there no more. It might be one or two.
Nah, they there. They the same owner.
In Hartford?
Yeah. Because like what I'm noticing, people don't want to do that work.
That's true too.
Yeah.
People don't want to do the work. They want the stuff that's simple, that looks simple and easy. The stuff that is like a lot of hard work. They don't really want to do it. But I think that's where the deals are right now.
But the thing, Jay, that you said, man, and people you can't buy retail and do this because you're buying at the top of the market, especially in a seller's market like Connecticut. It ain't gonna. You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. You gotta buy wholesale. You gotta get the margins right, and you gotta do the work. That's the only way to make this real profitable. Because buying retail, I mean, ain't gonna be no margin there at all.
Yes, sir, fellas, man. This has been a very educational topic. I think we hit some good things tonight. Before we go, any last thoughts? Anything you guys want to share on equity or even cash flow or both? Any final thoughts y'all want to share to people? Any other announcements? Anything like that? Nobody got nothing. Cool beans. So it is that time, folks. Let's dive into the last portion of the show, right? As I like to say, it's time to get in that bag and drop a gem. Jason, I'm starting off you tonight. Gerard, get yourself together. You going last, okay? Brother Jason.
Man, take your time when you're buying property. Stop rushing, man. Stop rushing. Take your time, man. If it doesn't fit what you're trying to do, don't purchase. Too many people get out here, they're buying residents, especially new buyers, right? They're buying homes that they really don't like just to have a home. I get it, right? I get it. You should have something. But if you have an exit strategy and you can get out of that home, and if it might not be in the best of shape and you don't have the money, they get talked into buying this home. Take your time, analyze the numbers, make sure your team is in place, your realtor, your loan officer, and just slow down, man. Slow down with your financing, slow down with your home buying, slow down. Because too many people are rushing because they're getting pressure put on them. Just slow down. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I promise you.
Yes, sir, Brother King.
So I'm gonna say, have a plan before you are ready to purchase. Like, make sure you got a plan. Make sure you got $10,000 to $30,000 saved. If you get the down payment assistance, cool, but don't bank on the down payment assistance. For the most part, people like to even give the down payment assistance to people that really need it, but we all need it. We all need to have extra money. Even if you do use it, have the extra other money put away just in case of emergency if the tenants don't pay the rent, or if you want to fix something go wrong or whatever. Also, if you are a landlord or an investor in the urban communities, they have different programs like, that'll pay for like boilers or new windows or a new roof or different things like that. So keep that in mind and always ask questions.
Yes, sir. Man, my thing would be go check out some more episodes, man. We hit on whether or not if you should pay for a home first or be investing. Go check that video out. We had that discussion with Brother Jeff Malone. That's a good one. If that's something that you've been considering and thinking about in your life, man, go check that one out. And go tap into all the other episodes. If you found value within this episode, if you found like these are conversations you need to have, share this episode with somebody, share it with yourself, go back and listen to it a couple times, pick out what stood out to you the most, write it down, and give us a call, man. All of us are up here. We all have some level of experience somewhere. I don't have it in real estate, but I have it on the finance side. So if you need to get some insurance on the house, I got you. If you want to insure not on the house, insure your life. In case you need to pay off that house in case you died too soon, I got you. Brother Gerard.
I'm gonna take something from all of y'all. I'm gonna steal all of y'all shit and make my own closing remarks. Build a team. Get yourself a team, man. Get your people together. Get your agent should be a resource, right? The people around you should be a resource to you, right? King, I think that was you that said a lot of the people, they don't want to buy the ugly houses, right? You know why they don't want to buy the ugly houses? Because they terrified of contractors. They don't know no contractors. They don't want to deal with no contractors. When you gotta
add to that too.
Yeah, when you get a client that say, oh, my uncle, he a contractor. I ain't worried about this. We can fix this, right? But when you get that person that don't really know contractors like that or had a bad experience with a contractor, they're like, I want to go turnkey, right? But if you tap into the resources of the people around you, your agent, your loan officer, your insurance guy, your tax person, your attorney, you build your team. Build your team of people that you could trust so you could go out there and secure the bag.
Right.
I thought you was going, King. You good?
No, I went.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you want to add on. But okay, cool beans. Folks, cousins, family, that is a wrap on today's conversation. Remember this. Real estate isn't just about collecting checks, rent checks. It's about creating options for yourself and opportunities for the people who come after you. The most successful investors understand that wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through patience, consistency, and ownership. Every property, every mortgage payment, every dollar saved and invested is another step towards financial freedom. Whether you're focused on cash flow, equity, or both, the goal is bigger than the property itself. The goal is to put yourself in a position where your money works harder than you do. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to make money, it's to own what makes the money. Cash flow feeds the present. Equity secures the future. Keep learning, keep building, and keep securing that bag. We'll see you next week, every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Peace.
New beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword. Swinging blades at these scrubs. Flock like bugs to the light. Getting right. Treat my hoes like these raps. I don't really got a type. Off top bullshit. All I needed was a mic. Yeah. Hey, pass the rock, it's all butter. Pack your bags and take flight. Don't worry, it's all covered. Hey, live your life while you can. Our days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after, clearing up the disaster.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody days a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Yeah.
I got some places I should take you to see. You know it's easy when you ride with a G. Light speed, moving fast through the city, trying to find me some peace.